Chapter 20. The Covenant. Genesis 9, 7-17. And you, be ye fruitful and multiply, bring forth abundantly in the earth, and multiply therein. And God spake unto Noah and to his sons with him, saying, And I, behold, I establish my covenant with you, and with your seed after you, and with every living creature that is with you, of the fowl, of the cattle, and of every beast of the earth with you, from all that go out of the ark to every beast of the earth. And I will establish my covenant with you, neither shall all flesh be cut off any more by the waters of a flood, neither shall there any more be a flood to destroy the earth. And God said, This is a token of the covenant which I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for perpetual generations. I do set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth. And it shall come to pass, when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the bow shall be seen in the cloud. And I will remember my covenant which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh, and the waters shall no more become a flood to destroy all flesh. And the bow shall be in the cloud, and I will look upon it, that I may remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is upon the earth. And God said unto Noah, This is the token of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is upon the earth. Genesis 9, 7-17. Noah is addressed by God as a new Adam. He bears the disabilities created by Adam's fall, sin, and death, but he marks a step forward towards the last Adam, Jesus Christ. As God had spoken to Adam in Genesis 1, 26-28, so he speaks to Noah in Genesis 9, 1 and 7. He is to be fruitful and multiply and to fill the earth. But God also, in verses 1-7, speaks concerning the human-animal relationships. Man's relationship to the animal creation is apparently a changed one. Henceforth, the fear, dread, and terror of man will mark the animals. Whatever vestige of Adam's protective and custodial care remained after the fall is now gone. The animals have left the ark, and their progeny will see man as an enemy. The world had changed. The animals that are clean will be food for man. The clean-unclean distinction is presupposed. Animals were used in sacrifices before the flood, and some sacrifices were consumed by the worshippers in every age. Quote, Just like the green herb I have given all to you. End quote. The fact that now the green herbs are mentioned does not mean that man did not eat them prior to their mention or before the flood. The eating of blood is forbidden. Leviticus 17:10, 11:14, 19:26, Deuteronomy 12:23. It is absurd to assume that this ban did not previously exist. God's standards do not change, and men before the flood were not primitive grunters to whom God could not explain such a fact. Quote, The life of the flesh is in the blood, Leviticus 17:11, and to eat blood is to try to seize life. Diverse cultures all over the world have associated blood with life and potency, and have eaten blood to gain power. Diet from the beginning of history has been a religious matter. Since food sustains life, the maintenance and furtherance of life, food becomes a religious concern. Not only the eating of blood, but its shedding must be governed by God's law. The shedding of man's blood by animals must be punished by the death of the animal. In God's law given through Moses, this is found in Exodus 21, 28-32. The shedding of man's blood by man requires a death penalty if it be murder and not self-defense. The general premise is, quote, Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed, for in the image of God made he man. Verse 5. The foundation of civil government rests in this fact, the protection of life and the punishment of those who violate God's law. If civil government does not serve God's purpose, it will work against God. There is no other alternative, no neutral ground. Then in verses 8 to 17, God re-establishes his covenant with man and gives to man the rainbow to indicate that there will be no repetition of the flood. Almost nothing has been written about rainbows, although stories about them are common to many cultures. The rainbow was given as a blessing to mankind, to the animals and to the earth. It is a blessing, a sign of grace and peace. Besides being a beautiful sight, it should be a religious reminder of God's grace to us and of his covenant. A covenant can be between two equals with an agreed-upon law, because a covenant is a treaty of law. However, a covenant between unequals, as here between God the Creator and man his creature, is still a law treaty, but it is an act of grace also whereby the greater partner blesses the lesser. God's covenant is thus at one and the same time both law and grace. For him to deign to give us his law is an act of grace whereby we become not only his kingdom and people, but also his household, the royal family. Verses 8 to 12 tell us that the covenant is with Noah and all his posterity to the end of time. It is also with every kind of animal that was with Noah in the ark. It is a covenant with total coverage whereby God declares that man and the earth and its animals are now within God's covenant. Man can thus only be a covenant keeper or a covenant breaker. There is no realm of neutrality. Whatever future judgments against covenant breakers there may be, these will not include a total judgment like the flood until the world's end. Verse 12. This covenant is with all to the end of time, and the token of God's covenant between God and, quote, the earth, end quote, verse 13, is the rainbow, verse 14. Men may forget, or they may come to regard the rainbow as, quote, another natural fact, end quote, forgetting that all natural facts are God-created, but God will not forget the meaning of the rainbow, verses 15 and 16. God told Noah that the rainbow was a token of the covenant, but men are too, quote-unquote, wise now to believe God said so. This fault on man's part invalidates nothing. Noah's world is God's world. It is the only real world, although modern man prefers his imaginary realms, as did the men before the flood. The flood will not be repeated, but history is a series of judgments culminating in the last judgment. In verses 1 to 7, the law of the covenant is given in summary fashion. The Lord, of his covenant of grace, can expand the law because its every jot and tittle is an act of grace until the king arrives to put the covenant fully into force with his own blood. In Romans 8, 19 to 23, we have a reference to the animal creation in God's covenant, waiting for the manifestation of the glorious liberty of the sons of God. Since they are included in the covenant promises, they look forward to their deliverance. Animals were to be held responsible for their actions, as Genesis 9:5 makes clear, and Exodus 21, 28 to 32 gives us this law more specifically. Calvin, in his commentary in Romans 8, 19 to 23, recognized, while stating that idle speculation is wrong, that animals have a place in the new creation.